And so, yeah, I'll hand it over to Jane for introduction of Victor's Angel.
Hello everyone. Can people see me?
Yep, I see you.
Okay, I will get started to share. Just for the interest of time, we'll really speed up the intro. Many of you already know what we do. So let me find the screen to share. Okay. All right. So hello, everyone. I'm Jane. I'm the founder and a sustainability deal lead at Factors Angel. I'm a climate policy researcher at the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab and also a climate investor. Here we go. So, oops. Okay. So many people already know us. So we'll just really fast forward a few slides. So we're Angel Group, focus on impact investing, on sustainability and the healthcare deals. And we believe in the positive impact and the positive financial return can both be attained. And oops, let's see, how do I go to the next? Yeah, so here's a new aspect we added for all the new deals is we are asking our company to put together impact pledge, what they want to do in the future to continue their effort on the impact side. So we welcome everyone to continue monitor the company's promise and see if they're really getting it. And we are also striving to use our resources to help them to really getting down their path to bring both impact and a great return for our investors. So angel investors, we believe they have both the financial capability and the resources, experiences to bring to the early stage startup company. So that's where the premise why the Angel Group got started to begin with. Our current process is our entrepreneurs, they submit their deck to our deal day or our weekly pitch, and we conduct a technical due diligence. If we think this company is good enough, meeting our minimum investment criteria, and our own team member investing in the company ourselves, we will call for a formal syndicate. If not, we still pass it to the newsletter and with all the contact information of the founders, so you can all feel free to work with the founder independently. Here is where you submit the deck, and this is for investors. If you're new here, please submit your investment preference here, and you can join our Slack channel. And several ways to join our team, our investment fellowship program. We just started the summer 2021 cohort. So you join the program to really learn how to do investing from deal sourcing, due diligence, to also fundraise, to have the full venture experience. And we also have senior venture partners who work in venture funds in their day job as well, and investing in deals with us. And we also have VC collaborators. So we have tight collaboration with several VC funds that we co-invest, share deal, or run due diligence together. So we welcome if you're a VC fund with a very strong focus in either the sustainability or healthcare deal side, we're happy to work with you. Here is our summer 2021 cohort. They just started last week. So their background, their names, I'm not going to go through each one of them, but if you're interested in joining our cohort for the next cohort, that will be starting from July 2022. You can keep an eye on our website for the upcoming cohort information. And we also will run a climate tech investing bootcamp. Investing in sustainability technology is very tricky. It's a blend of public policy regulations plus market opportunities, and with many interesting deep technology companies show up in the marketplace. it's a very difficult area to comprehend if you are new to the field, especially for investing in clean tech. So that's why we decided to put together a bootcamp for people who really want to learn what are the hurdles investing in clean tech, how to overcome them. This is open for experienced investors who want to get into climate tech, or you're just you want to get into investment altogether. So we have some of the curriculum designed for newcomers, for example, the venture capital basics, and we also have very detailed deep dive for each of the clean tech or climate tech sub-vertical. So this course is put together led by a professor, head of venture capital from Stanford Business School, research director, Breakthrough Energy Science, and numerous venture capital funds with climate focus as guest speakers. It starts in August 24th. So if you're interested, coming along, we'll have detailed information sent out to our mailing list. So, okay, next one. Yeah. So, Pimi, you want to go through the company presenting today?
Yeah, sure. So today we'll have 8 startups. Then actually, like, this time is the first time that we will have our alumni company presenting as well. So yeah, we have Road.ly, Reblend, Road.ly, Reblend, microTERRA, Moment Energy, Signal, Terrament, Alga.Bio, and Sealight is the company that we already syndicated, but they're raising another round, so we call them our alumni company. And actually, Sealight came to our deal day last year, and that was a very big success. And so, yeah, if you know any great companies you're interested in, feel free to let us know. Don't forget to sign up for our community on our website, and I will also send the link out after the event. Yeah, is there? Okay.
Okay. And then one more initiative we have is a climate case fund. It is a new fund that we put together, $1 million USD to invest in one company in one subsector of climate. We're currently still deciding which subsector to focus on. We're looking at a sector have a lot of deal flows, interesting enough, impactful enough for us to choose. We'll lead or co-lead around with another aspiring VC fund. We welcome you to join our the Climate Case Fund as LP. And if you join in, you may also participate in the deal sourcing, the diligence, and potentially the decision-making process. And also, if you join the case fund, we also welcome you to join our climate investing bootcamp. Yeah, and this is our first time to do it. So if you have any sub-vertical you have in mind or company you're super excited about, feel free to let us know. Okay. Yeah, okay, again, about the deal day, this is not a demo day. It's the initial screening of the companies. Many of the companies, it's the first time we met as well. They join our deal day. And if you have companies you want to refer to our future deal day, which happens every 3 months, feel free to send them over. We prefer a company in pre-seed or seed stage that already have a product in the market and some commercial tractions. Yeah, so we also have weekly pitch for our internal deal team. If it's not, the time is not suitable for them to join the deal day, we still have another revenue for them to get in touch with our deal team. And we will take your feedback, suggestions from the deal day to continue run due diligence of the companies. If we like to syndicate on them, you all know through the email we send out. Okay, so That's it. So join our movement, join the community, feedback always welcome. And yeah, thank you so much. Let's get started on the pitch. Up to you, Ping Ping.
Perfect, Jane. Thank you very much. And so now we'll start with our first company, Road.ly. Are you ready? Are you there? Okay, Andre. All right, maybe let's see, what about Reblend? Catherine, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready to go.
Yep, so please feel free to screen share and let's get started.
Wonderful. Let me get that screen sharing going. Perfect. Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. Ultimately, my entire career has been in the food world. I started off in R&D, marketing, sales, and then had innovation roles with companies like Cliff Bar and Starbucks, McDonald's, Pop Chips, and got my master's in engineering and business at Northwestern. And it was while I was there that I was learning about the rising food waste epidemic. And I started to call farmers and manufacturers and distributors, trying to make sense of the statistics that I kept seeing and why so much produce was not reaching a plate. And I could clearly see there was a massive problem, but one that I wasn't sure where I could make an impact in. And at the same time, I found myself frustrated by the fact that it was hard to get enough fruits and veggies into my diet while I was a busy grad student. And I was making smoothies in the morning. That had quickly become a 40-minute ordeal with all the cleaning and chopping and measuring and more cleaning. And I had this idea to strip the smoothie of all of the things designed to bulk it up, i.e. the ice, water, excess fruit, and to pack it into a pop that I could grab from the freezer and head to class with. And I soon started to get requests from friends to make them some, and knew I was onto something when I was getting emails from people I didn't even know asking if I was the smoothie woman. And what pushed me though over the edge was when I recognized that this actually was my answer to that initial question around how I could make an impact on the food waste space. And so I launched Reblend. Reblends are simple pops that deliver on some of the most complex problems overwhelming consumers who are trying to find easy ways to get fruits and veggies into their diet, and society's struggle to rebuild a more sustainable supply chain. All of this is done with the line of smoothie pops packed with whole fruits, veggie superfoods, and a bold mission to radically tackle food waste. As I like to say, there's a whole lot of impact in a small little pop. We target the intersection of the $20 billion global smoothie market and $80 billion functional snacking space, and go after the professional female that's responsible for driving brands like Daily Harvest into a $250 million business. Typical snacks are not packed with whole fruits and veggies, and typical smoothies require prep, frozen, chill, distribution, and transport, and are usually 150 to 600 calories. Reblends are 25 to 50 calorie snacking style smoothie pops that are able to ship ambient, short-cutting the CO2 footprint associated with this category, and packed with fruits and vegetables that are sourced from farmers and manufacturers and distributors across the country through our reharvest and repurpose sourcing platform. Reblends are truly the only product that, one, ship ambient and are designed to be an omni-channel winning product, an online food service and retail, that tackle food waste through our partnerships with farmers, distributors, and manufacturers. And three, deliver on the expectations of our consumers to offer clean ingredients free of processed sweeteners, concentrates, syrups. And on top of all of that, there's no mess, no stress. You just freeze, then squeeze. I had three objectives in our earlier pre-seed raise. One, to commercialize the product. And we've scaled our supply chain and manufacturing from 450 units to now 300,000. We've transitioned from a frozen chain to an ambient and have retained 60% gross manufacturing margins in doing so. 2, we've built out our brand by launching a new website, packaging, and have been featured in Forbes, CBS, Real Simple, Healthline, all of which validate the power of our brand to connect with our consumers and what they care about. And 3, we've proven product market fit. We've pivoted from being a food service brand that before COVID onto an online platform and have been able to scale into 7-figure growth and doubled our 2020 revenue in just Q1 of 2021. Now we have 3 targets. 1, to amplify our brand awareness and the story of how we are driving impact through our sourcing and through the expansion of what our brand stands for. 2, to drive top line revenue to 5 million by focusing on retail expansion. And 3, to scale our infrastructure to support innovation and team expansion. We are building something much bigger, though, than just smoothie pops. We are scaling convenience without compromise. We're delivering on the shortcuts that consumers want without the compromises they usually have to make. We're powered by the Barilla Blue 1877 Fund, the Kroger Zero Waste Fund, the co-founder of Imperfect Produce, the COO of Birchbenders, and we're looking for your partnership to scale reharvest provisions in our next chapter of growth. Thank you. And that is it.
Sorry, yeah, I can't find a way to unmute myself. Anyway, yeah.
No worries.
Okay, so now I'm going to launch the poll for you guys to tell us how you think about Reblend. Okay. And we'll have 2 minutes for this while the next company set up. Marisa, are you around? Okay, microTERRA, anyone from microTERRA? All right, what about Moment Energy?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, you can, Eddie, you can go ahead and set up the screen share.
Okay, sounds good. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, time's up for the poll for Reblend. I'm gonna show the poll results while Eddie is pitching Moment Energy.
Cool.
Okay. I think if anyone has problem of like the poll results coming up at the same time, just close the window. It will be gone. Okay, off to you, Eddie.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. So hi, I'm Eddie, and I'm a co-founder and CEO of Moment Energy. So with recent talks of renewables and electric vehicles, it's easy to forget that fossil fuels still supply up to 84% of the world's energy, with North America included as a large culprit. In particular, remote areas across North America rely heavily on diesel generators to meet their power needs, and energy storage can help them transition to clean energy. And really, existing solutions are just too expensive. Energy storage can also help commercial and industrial facilities save on hundreds of thousands of operational costs as well. So Moment provides clean, affordable, and reliable energy storage by repurposing retired electric vehicle batteries. With our product, customers have access to clean and affordable solutions to reduce their utility bills and can store renewable energy to access whenever they need it. Now, you might be wondering why electric vehicle batteries. So it turns out that EV batteries still have an average of 80% of life left when retired from the car. These batteries are perfect for energy storage applications, and there's a large influx of them incoming as the popularity of EVs increase. So countries like China and Europe do recognize that creating a circular economy is very important for EV batteries, such that they are mandating auto manufacturers to repurpose or recycle these batteries. And we see that North America is following suit as well. So Moment's really seizing the opportunity to work with legislators and automakers to repurpose EV batteries to use them in sustainable applications. So to touch upon the markets that we're addressing, there are four that we generally see. There's an off-grid market, on-grid market, residential, and the utility scale applications. So at Moment, we're focused on the 100 kilowatt hour to 5 megawatt hour market that consists of reducing diesel consumption for off-grid sites, as well as on-grid demand shifting for commercial and industrial. For both applications, we make energy cleaner and more reliable. So what does it mean in terms of value to our customers? So one of our projects that we're working with on an off-grid fishery. So in this off-grid fishery, we're installing a 240 kilowatt energy storage system, and customers reduce 148 tons of CO2 and save up to $80,000 of diesel per year. So this means that the system pays for itself in about 2.5 years, compared to an equivalent system with new lithium, we're about 44% cheaper than them. As we move into the on-grid market, our cost versus value is even more competitive. So as we would be less than the half of the price of new lithium, in this case, the customer saves up to $500,000 a year in utility costs, meaning that our system pays for itself in about 2 years. So to talk about progress to date, our traction in the past year really includes securing supply chain of EV batteries from Nissan North America. So we're the only Canadian company working with them there, and 3 other major auto manufacturers as well, to be their very first North American company to repurpose their EV batteries. Right now, we have a pipeline of 1.2 million in LOIs and negotiations through our customers and channel partners, which include Indigenous-owned companies and remote communities. And also, we have very strong interest from partners where we're in discussion with 9 renewable integrators and partners that want to provide our batteries to the end customer. So some of these end customers are very large lodges like CMH Heli in British Columbia, and Volta Solutions, which is a mining logistics company. So we've also been featured on a lot of local news within Canada, such as CTV and City News, and won many awards to date, including just this past 2 weeks, we've been crowned the top impact startup in Canada. So we applied to the National Impact Investor Challenge amongst 150 other clean tech social startups in the nation, and we're really excited for our win, which allowed us to acquire about $150,000 in seed investment. In terms of projects, we have deployed 3 paid pilot projects across Canada, including in Manitoba, BC, and Alberta. And the system in Manitoba has provided actually 3 years of accelerated cycle life data, although we only deployed it just last August. And that's because it's charging and discharging, so cycling about 5 times a day, which is really great for our R&D and data. So in addition to running a great business, impact is really core to our DNA. So we satisfied 10 out of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and 4 of them are listed here. And by repurposing electric vehicle batteries, we establish a full circular economy. So our founding team is consistent of 4 tech entrepreneurs that have experience working for companies like Tesla, Apple, and the energy industry, where we also built an electric race car from scratch. So we really have developed a team from 4 to up to 15 people now. And finally, just to conclude everything, we're currently in our $2.5 million seed raise, where we're really looking to establish and create that manufacturing facility so that we can serve all the sales that we've already locked down So we really hope that you guys join us in repurposing all electric vehicle batteries by 2030. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Eddie. All right, I'm gonna start the poll for Moment Energy. Stop sharing, and then let me find Moment Energy. Okay, here you go, 2 minutes. For the next two companies, microTERRA and Signal, both of them will be pitching via their video. Unfortunately, they cannot come to the event in person. If you have any questions for them, please feel free to type it in the chat, and I'll be relaying the questions to them, and so that they can give you answers. All right, 2 minutes up. And then next company will be microTERRA. Okay, let me end the poll and share the results. So if this poll is blocking your view, just feel free to close it. If you open it again, it will just like show the results. And so can everyone see, is everyone seeing like the YouTube video on my screen right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'll start the pitch.
For all these plant-based food companies that are doing an amazing job replicating the experience of eating animal products, they require ingredients that will give them the texture without altering taste or color. And so after hearing that once and again, we decided to develop that. At microTERRA, we have developed a functional and nutritious plant-based ingredient that can be grown in an affordable, sustainable, and scalable way, all while cleaning the water of the fish farms in which it's grown. It goes through a rinsing process, then we dry it, we mill it, and then we have two products. So one product after the milling goes to the packaging and that's it. And the second product goes through an extraction process where we remove taste and color. We thought because of the IP landscape we've been doing and what our competitors have been doing that they wanted something very sophisticated, and it turns out to be wrong. Like, customers demand clean labels, less processed products. They want to have one product that already brings together fiber, protein, and of course the functionality of the pectin, instead of having all these biorefined products that they later on have to add. So the magic there is to really characterize everything that is in your product. If you talk about pectin, people react. And so we started to research on like pectin prices and like other properties. And then we went on all this functionality adventure of like, okay, is it an emulsifier? Is it not a jellifier? Or how does it behave, right? So this is already a great ingredient because of both of their properties. Let's just make it more accessible for the plant-based food industry to use it. The amazing part about Lemna is that it can grow in 36 hours. That means we can harvest it every second day. So it's a very noble culture. Fish farming is extremely risky. Fish can die from one day to the other, and all the investment that you've done over months, it's ruined. Then they have very, very high operational costs, starting with the fish feed, but also with the energy consumption to maintain them healthy. And the last thing is they have very low margins. They are not these early adopters that will want to try different things and spend money on different things, right? Like, they are on a short budget. So we needed to play with that, and we started to say like, okay, what if instead of selling them something, we buy something from them? What if instead of like demanding that they clean their water and we charge for that, what if we could do it the other way around and use their infrastructure and use whatever they have already there into our and their advantage? By giving them an incentive of extra revenue, we are changing the game. We are changing the way we approach these farmers, and we are changing the way they react to our idea. And this is for me how you create sustainability, by incentivizing the right people in the right way. I think if you're aligned and you think that this is the way that agriculture should work, you should reach out and let's talk.
All right, how is that? Okay, I'll stop sharing Moment Energy's poll and then start the poll for microTERRA. Okay, so the poll for Signal, it's 2 minutes, so I'm gonna end this and share the results and then hand it over to Eric.
Great, thank you so much. So I'm Eric Chavez. I'm the founder of Terrament, and we're building radically scalable energy storage. So the context here, the problem we're solving is that the US needs 5 times more energy storage by 2050. And that's so that we can support renewable energy like wind and solar. And for context here, in the top right here, the blue, this is all of the energy storage we have today. And 95% of it is pumped hydro. The problem is that we can't really build any more pumped hydro. So we really don't have a viable, affordable solution to solve this critical problem. You'll see a tiny sliver there that's lithium ion, which is what a lot of people think about when they think about energy storage. But many experts agree that we can't build lithium ion at the grid scale that we need affordably enough for that to be a viable solution. So we need a new solution to solve this, and we need it very quickly. So Terrament's solution is we are doing another kind of gravity storage. If pumped hydro is really just gravity storage, and the 2 ingredients are just weight and height. And Terrament has come up with a solution that's a patented solution that has maximized weight and height to have this design be as cheap as pumped hydro, but way more feasible to build. And so we maximize height by drilling deep into bedrock and drilling about 1 mile down. And we maximize weight by having each module be able to support its own weight. And I'll show you how that works. So normally I would show a video of what this looks like, which we don't have time for, but you can see that on our website later. So these next two slides talk about the importance of weight and height. So first, weight. As I mentioned, each module has to support its own weight. And to understand why that's so important, we have a competitor called Gravitricity that is doing really interesting things, but at a smaller scale where you have a cable that holds a very heavy weight. But after about a half mile, a cable can't even support its own weight anymore. So that's, you can understand why it's critical to maximize the weight in a mine shaft. These modules need to be able to gear directly to these racks that are bolted directly to the bedrock. And to power these, we use a generator that we pull straight from a wind turbine generator. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. We can use these parts as a motor generator to run these modules. And we also use a gearing mechanism to have them have a very high torque and low RPM. And height is very important to understand why. We have a chart on the right, which shows a comparison of what it looks like if, for example, one of our competitors' energy vault has towers above ground, but they're about 10 times smaller than ours. So if you have 10 of those towers next to each other, you still have the same combined height and weight that Terrament does. But because we stack all of ours with this really large height, we still get 10 times more energy storage with the same amount of weight and height. And that's really the key to our design. And this also talks about mining technology that's very well established. And so again, we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. So energy storage, especially long duration storage, is in a really huge market. Globally, it's over $1 trillion. So there's no question that this is a very important and enormous market to solve. Because we have this solution that maximizes weight and height, our estimations show that our levelized cost is extremely low. It can beat the entire market, and it doesn't have the risks that a lot of these other technologies like lithium ion have, which are more expensive and still require more research or have other issues. Sorry, lithium ion doesn't require more research, but it is more expensive at scale. Other things like compressed air have other issues. So yeah, we think that we have a sweet spot here. And that's why we position ourselves as the best replacement for pumped hydro potentially. So we have a fantastic team of advisors and potential co-founders. We're talking to a lot of amazing people right now and solidifying this team. Our business model is what some people have called the holy grail of green energy, which is to combine energy storage with renewable energy and still have it be cheaper than fossil fuel. And so with our extremely low cost, we are able to do that for some fossil fuels and with other value adds on top of it, which is a very complicated industry, part of the industry, then we can really achieve very low cost here. What we're building is at an incredibly large scale on the order of like what pumped hydro is. And these numbers show that the order of scale that they're talking about here. And so finally, right now we're in an angel round, seeking $500K to $1 million. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Eric. I'll stop the poll for signal and launch the one for Terrament. Okay, and let's see. Alex, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly. So yeah, feel free to screen share, and then after 2 minutes, we will start. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions to any of the companies, please feel free to type in the chat. If you have questions for Signal and microTERRA, you can also type it in the chat to everyone or directly message me. Okay, 2 minutes up. All right. Here's the results for Terrament. Okay, and hand over to you, Alex.
Great, thank you. And thank you guys for having me. I'm here to talk about Alga Biosciences. So what we do is creating a kelp-based feed additive to eliminate the methane emissions of cattle. So cows produce an enormous amount of methane. This is, as I'm sure you know, very bad for the climate, but also it's very expensive for the farmer. And that's something that's often overlooked here. So from a climate perspective, it's horrible. It's 7% of all of our emissions when we look on a 100-year timescale. But because methane is such a potent gas, if you look on the shorter end, if you look at the next 20 years, it's going to be responsible for almost 20% of all of our warming in the next 2 decades. So it's a really, and that's purely from cow burps. So it's a huge lever that we can pull to buy ourselves more time against climate change. But it's really expensive for the farmer because we use methane for a fuel because it's very energy rich. So it takes a lot of food to produce. Up to 20% of the cow's food every day goes into creating methane, which has no value for the farmer. So we can actually save the farmer a lot of money in theory by stopping this emission. So in the US alone, it's almost $25 billion of food that's wasted creating methane in cows, and about $16 billion of methane released based on current carbon markets. There are some solutions on the market right now, the most effective of which is Asparagopsis, which is kind of this interesting red kelp that was found in Australia. So Asparagopsis is really remarkable in its ability to eliminate methane production and have no negative side effects and increase the feed conversion efficiency of the animal. And it's been validated by market funding. There's a lot of companies working on this. The challenge is that it's hard to grow this plant. It's very expensive and it's difficult to scale. And these are very, both serious impediments and kind of the most crucial problems to solve here. It has to be cheap enough that farmers want to use it. And it also has to be able to be added to the feed of the 100 million cows in the US and the 1.5 billion cows worldwide if you really want to make a dent here. So what do we think the solution is? We think it's a proprietary kelp-based product that has the same chemical composition as Asparagopsis, the same abilities, but is grown for a fraction of the price and can be created at a scale able to really make a dent. So I think the important thing here is to look at some other kelp species. So it's where we're focusing on giant kelp. It's the fastest growing plant in the world, grows up to 1 meter a day. And a lot of folks are working to scale up its production for, say, biofuels. So what we do is we take this low-cost giant kelp and in our proprietary process, convert it into a high-value Asparagopsis equivalent. So something that's just as effective as this proven Asparagopsis at eliminating those cattle emissions, but much, much cheaper. So if we go back to the chart, we see ourselves down here. The cost of it right now, before we even scale up, is about 50 cents a kilogram for production. And the value to the farmer through carbon benefits, but mostly through those efficiency benefits of having to feed the cows less to grow to the same size, it's up to $30 a kilogram. So this is saving farmers $400 a year per cow in the US. It's a massive market. Who are we? So myself and my 2 co-founders, they're both PhD chemists at Berkeley, and I come from more of the business end. I studied biology and economics at school and worked as chief of staff at a software company, LiveRamp, out here in San Francisco for the past 2.5 years. So where are we right now? We've got a proof of concept prototype, and we're in conversations with farmers to actually run commercial pilots of trying to add this to their feed and get those results. So what we're doing right now is actually raising our first pre-seed round to get in the lab and be able to produce enough of this product to run those big animal trials that act as validation before we scale up and start trying to produce hundreds and hundreds of tons hundreds and hundreds of tons of the stuff for farmers all the way across the country. So in summary, this is a really unique climate issue, both because it's an, an excellent opportunity to buy ourselves more time, but also most issues, there are a number of things that have to be aligned. The fundamental science has to be answered of how the solution would work, and also the incentive structure has to be in place. Usually that happens through regulation. We're very fortunate that this is an issue where the incentive structure is already there. Farmers are already paying a massive cost for producing all of this methane. It's just not realized yet, because that's how everybody has always done it. So I think we've got the opportunity to have all of the incentives aligned for both the farmers and the planet, and be able to act really, really quickly to sweep up this massive market, both domestically and internationally, because of our super low prices. We're about 1/100th the cost of our competitors right now. And so that's why we're currently raising a round to try to scale up and get those large animal trials in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Okay. Let me cancel. Okay. Let me start the poll for Alga.Bio. Okay. Let me see. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay, I just launched a poll for Alga.Bio. And our next company would be Sealight Technologies, our alumni. Good to see you again, Christy.
Good to see you as well.
Okay, well, we'll give the audience about 2 minutes to decide what they think about Alga.Bio, and then we'll hand it off to you.
Sounds good. While we wait, can you see my screen?
Yep, it's all
Okay.
bright and clear.
Great.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the poll for Alga.Bio, and then share the results, and then yeah, Christy, off to you.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for having me come back. I'm Christy. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sealight Technologies. We are a neurotech and AI company that created a 10-second retinal eye tracking test to map neurodegeneration and therapeutic efficacy. So as was mentioned, we are an alumni team. So we pitched to the Vectors Angel Group last year for the beginning of our seed round. And to date, within our seed round, we've now raised over $3 million.
Oh, Christy? All right. Hello. Is everyone hearing
Cognitive
Christina?
impairment study with UCSF. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we lost you for about 30 seconds. So if you could rewind a little bit, that would be great.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So I'll just start this slide over again. So some exciting updates from my side. So to date, we have now raised over 3 million of our seed funding round, of which Vectors Angel was a part. The term sheet does permit up to 3.5 million. And so I'm here today just looking to close that final 450K for the seed round. And this money for the major milestones we're looking at are for FDA approval and improving our AI accuracy. Other exciting updates on our end is that we were funded by the Alzheimer's Drug Discovery Foundation. This is powered by Gates Ventures, and this is for a study particularly looking at mild cognitive impairment with the UCSF Memory and Aging Center team. And then finally, we completed our analysis of our MRI data. So we can now begin to use our eye motion to actually predict areas of atrophy within the brain. So for any of you who weren't here for my initial pitch, for me, neurodegeneration is very personal. I've lost a lot of family members due to Alzheimer's. And this space is extremely frustrating because there aren't many viable therapeutics. Now, just a few weeks ago, the FDA did approve the first therapy for Alzheimer's in the last 20 years. And so now there's hope that we can see in our loved ones. But the issue that we've had this huge gap for decades is that therapeutic developers don't have viable biomarkers that they can use to develop the drugs and stratify patients appropriately. So many times what ends up happening is they take existing tools and they try to repurpose them for drug efficacy. These are going to be bedside exams, lengthy cognitive assessments, and extremely expensive MRIs. And even with all of these in existence, we still face minimal to no viable therapeutics in many of the spaces. So C-Light's approach is a patented hardware-software combo. It involves the most non-invasive way to assess the brain, and that's by going directly through the eye. So our generation 1 device is tabletop. You put your chin on a chin rest and then you stare as stable as you can straight forward. We then record the back layer of the eye, the retina, which is also the front of your brain. We extract from these 10-second videos the eye motion that's occurred, and we feed that into our feature-based neural net. So this allows us to delineate different visual signatures that would be indicative of disease progression. And so with our initial seed round funding, we've already now designed entirely our prototype and are currently in the process of building this unit. So our validation to date has been partnering with top tier institutions like UCSF, as well as University of Pittsburgh to look at multiple sclerosis and concussion. Our entry market is in the multiple sclerosis space. So we're trying to take the current gold standard, which is a 30-minute bedside exam to predict a disability score, and use eye motion to do that objectively in 5 minutes or less. So using, on the bottom line here, using eye motion with other wearable and sensor data, we're 89% accurate in predicting multiple sclerosis progression. And just eye motion alone is 82% accurate. So you'll see here from the learning curve on the right, the more data we have to train and learn, the better we can be. So we're looking at just over 250 patients to start to get to that current gold standard where we have a disability score. So using a bottoms-up approach and assuming a pay-per-click model, as well as utilizing our pre-existing CPT code, MS outlines a $1 billion opportunity. Pipeline here includes concussion recovery and Alzheimer's, our active studies that we have now. And then if every person that walked into a neurologist's office could have their eye scanned, that's $25 billion opportunity. Our traction to date has been some early revenue and research grade sales, top tier clinical collaborations, discussions with pharma companies. We have one CRO company particularly interested in moving forward with us very soon. And then 18 letters of intent from key opinion physicians, which hail from these fantastic institutions like Johns Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, Bascom Palmer. So I have an amazing set of individuals. We are a neuroscientist, an engineer, a data scientist, and a business expertise. And again, we're asking for 450K to close out entirely the 3.5 million that we can officially raise for this round. And we've already closed 3 million, of which the Vectors Angel Group was a initial participant. And so with that, we're Sealight Technologies, and we are neurological health in the blink of an eye.
Thank you, Christy. All right. I'm gonna let people also poll for Sealight, and for about 2 minutes, and then I'll start a breakout room so that everyone can ask any questions you have with the founders of the companies. So let's see. While I'll start making the breakout rooms. Okay.